All right, here's our first lesson of our second textbook. 14.1, we're going to talk about just some different things that exponents and radicals that we haven't seen so far since we've been back. So anything to the 0 power equals 1. So for an example, if you have 5 to the 0 power, that whole thing is just 1. Or you could have negative 3,289, and if it's all raised to the 0 power, then that whole thing is just this whole number 1. Negative exponents make reciprocals. So if I have 5 to the negative 2 power, that's going to cause my base number, this 5, to become a reciprocal. So when I write that out, that means I'm now going to have 1/5, and now it's no longer going to be a negative exponent, it's going to be a positive. So that's 1/5 squared. All right, another example of that would be if we had like 2/3 to the negative 1 power, that would be, and actually let me change that power just to give you a better example. Let's make that power negative 4. That would be reciprocal 3/2 to the positive 4. So if you ever have negative exponents, you want to make them positive by using reciprocals. So you want to make negative exponents positive by using reciprocals. All right, the last rule that we're going to learn today is fractional exponents. So remember, your big number here, that number is called your base. And now your exponent has two different parts. And the fractions sound hard, but they're really not that bad. It's just putting a few things together. So just remember, the top of the fraction is always the power. All right, that means like the exponent, or how many times you're going to be multiplying something. And the bottom, think trees, the bottom is going to be the root. All right, so the bottom is the root and the top is the power, which means 5 to the 3/2 power is equal to, the bottom is the root, so a 2, that means I've got a root with the 2 in the corner, or we could say square root, and the top number is the power, which means 5 to the 3rd. All right, if I write another example for you, let's see if we have 6 to the, 2/3. That would be, the bottom's the root, so cube root of 6 squared. All right, I'll do one more for you. If I have 1/2 to the, I'm just making up numbers here, 2/5. The bottom is the root, so that means the 5th root of 1/2 squared. So bottom is the root. Notice that the bottom number is always the number that's the root, right? The top number is always the power, or the exponent on the inside. So like there, it was 5 to the 3rd, 6 squared, 1/2 to the 2nd power. That's just a pattern that you're going to have to memorize. So let's look at a few examples. All right, so the first thing, just remember these are your first two rules. Anything to the 0 power equals 1, and negative exponents make reciprocals. So anything to the 0 power equals 1, negative exponents, so this should make you think reciprocal, which means the reciprocal, 3 right now is 3/1. Reciprocal means to flip that, so that means I'm going to get 1/3 and make the exponent positive. All right, I have another negative exponent, so I'm going to do reciprocal again. 1/8 becomes 8/1, or just 8, and then exponent becomes positive. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. It doesn't matter what is inside of here. Like that could be the most complicated problem in the world, and if it's to the 0 power, it just equals 1. And then one more time, negative exponents mean reciprocal. So reciprocal of -2 is -1/2, and then exponent becomes positive. All right, one more type of problem. All right, so remember, the top is the power, and the bottom is the root. So if I rewrite this, I'm going to have the 5th root of 32 to the third power. Now, I want you to think, you have an option if you want to simplify, if you want to do the 5 first or the 3 first. To me, if you do the 3 first, that means you would do 32 times 32 times 32. All right, that's going to give you some crazy big number that you're going to have to break down. So instead of doing the 3 first, I'm actually going to take care of the 5 first. All right, so I'm going to do, so I would maybe make a note like, if possible, do the root first. So that means I'm going to break 32 down. We did this yesterday. All right, 4 and 8, 2 and 2, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. And remember, we're going to write that out. So I've got the 5th root of 30, oh, not 32 anymore. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And I'm going to move this power kind of to the outside of the root symbol. That doesn't change anything. All right, I'm just moving it out there for a minute. Now the 5, remember from this past week, the 5 means I need to have a group of 5 to pull out a single whole number. Well, that's what I have right here. I have a whole group of 5 right there, which means this can come out to make a whole number 2. So now my problem reads 2 to the third power. All right, so I pulled out a whole number and I made it a 2. And that's something I actually know how to do. 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2. And if you take a second to think about that, all right, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8. All right, so my final answer here is going to be 8. So we did the root first. We moved the power to the outside. Power to the outside. And then just simplify. So we'll keep working on that for tomorrow.